Good day, my fellow Deltans. My name is Kawari Abia Kennedy Pella, simply known as Ken Pella, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Letter to Deltans number 4, where we'll be talking about how we will enthrone righteousness in Delta. This edition is built on one truth. Without righteousness, nothing else can stand. Our theme is restoring trusts, rebuilding institutions, renewing Delta. Though it was originally written on 29 June 2025, its message is timeless. Now let me begin with an editor's note to explain the timing of this letter and how it connects to the Vision Trilogy campaign you saw in the past few days and heard in the month of September. This letter is being released at the conclusion of the Vision Trilogy, the Entrenched Righteousness Pela campaign. Over the past days, we shared short videos introducing the 3 pillars of Vision Better Delta: righteousness, which is the foundation of leadership and governance; harmony, which is the basis for unity and security; and prosperity, which is the outcome of a fair and productive society. We also broke down the entrenched righteousness pillar itself. If you missed them, I encourage you to visit our VBDM official social media pages. Watch, reflect, and share. They form the foundation on which this letter builds, as we now turn to the first pillar, righteousness, and how we will enthrone it in Delta. From this edition, we are also releasing audio versions of the letter to Deltans, so you can listen on the go, share more easily, and engage through multiple formats. Scan the QR code included with this letter to access the full LTD Resource Hub, the Vision Trilogy, the Entrenched Righteousness campaign, this letter and its audio version. Remember, this is critical because, as Peter Obi has reminded us, any society where lawlessness overrides the rule of law is not destined to be a haven of investors. That is why righteousness must come first. Without righteousness, nothing else can stand. This truth is the foundation of the Vision Better Delta roadmap. Our 3 pillars, righteousness, harmony, and prosperity, are not abstract ideals, but practical building blocks of governance. And of these 3, righteousness must come first. When leaders govern without integrity, when the law bends for the powerful but breaks the powerless, when budgets are hidden and offices are treated as private estates, no society can flourish. Delta State is not short of resources, nor are our people lacking in talent and resilience. What we lack is righteousness in governance, the courage to do the right thing, the discipline to put public good before private gain, and the fairness to treat every citizen equally before the law. This letter is about rebuilding that foundation. It is about how we will enthrone righteousness, not as a slogan, but as a living practice in the everyday relationship between government and citizens. But before we can rebuild, we must confront the reality of where Delta stands today, the truth of our present situation. The status quo shows us exactly why righteousness is urgently needed. Deltans know too well the pain of living under a system where rules are bent for the powerful and broken against the powerless. Under Governor Borewori's administration, this decay has only deepened. What we see today is not governance, but impunity wrapped in secrecy. Friends of power are shielded, critics silenced, while ordinary citizens are left with no recourse. Justice is delayed until it dies, while political loyalists walk free. Appointments and promotions are handed out as rewards for loyalty, not competence. The civil service, once meant to be the engine of professionalism, has been reduced to a tool of patronage. Contracts are inflated, openly sold, and citizens are forced to pay bribes for services that should be their rights. Corruption has been normalized. Budgets are hidden. Procurement is shrouded in backroom deals, and citizens are denied even the basic right to know how their money is spent. And after years of broken promises, cynicism has set in. Many Deltans now shrug and say, that's just how things are. When government models dishonesty, society absorbs it. This is Oborevori's Delta, a state where resources are squandered, opportunities stolen, and hope dimmed. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can choose a different foundation, a better way forward, and that begins by defining clearly what we mean by righteousness in governance. And when I talk about righteousness, people may think I mean church because I'm a deacon. No. By righteousness, we do not mean a sermon or abstract morality. We mean practical governance rooted in fairness, integrity, and accountability. It's a culture of leadership that ensures the law applies equally to all, that public resources are used transparently, and that citizens are treated with dignity. In simple terms, righteousness in governance means the rule of law is respected, fairness and equity in all government dealings, integrity and accountability at every level, transparency in budgets and contracts, a reformed public service that delivers, and a mass reorientation that celebrates honesty and responsibility. For citizens, this is not theory. It is open budgets that you can see, service timelines you can trust, whistleblowing you can do without fear, equitable projects in every community, and visible accountability for those in office. We will enthrone righteousness through 6 practical planks, 6 pillars of reform that will shape every interaction between government and citizens. Now, our first plank is the rule of law. No society can flourish when laws bend for the powerful but break against the powerless. In Delta, we will build a culture where the law protects, not persecutes, where justice is swift, fair, and accessible to all. Our promise is simple. No one will be above the law, and no one will be beneath its protection. To make this real, we will strengthen legal aid, digitize case tracking, and open budgets and contracts to public scrutiny. We will empower whistleblowers, and we will establish independent oversight mechanisms so justice cannot be bought or delayed. From day one, we will act. In the first 100 days, we will publish all outstanding state contracts, open the courts to public case tracking, and set up a citizens whistleblower channel that protects those who speak up. And within the first 12 to 18 months, you'll be able to measure progress. At least 3 high-profile corruption cases will be concluded. 4 open town halls will be held to review justice reforms within every year. And a public case tracking dashboard will be live for all Deltans to see. What will this mean for you, the citizens? No more paying bribes to file a case. There will be no more secrets about where your money is going. It will mean contracts you can see online and justice that moves at the pace of fairness, not favoritism. As my leader Peter Obi has reminded Nigerians, when the rule of law is compromised, the most vulnerable members of society are disproportionately affected and the fabric of our society begins to fray. That truth speaks directly to our reality in Delta. Rule of law must come first, because justice cannot remain a privilege for the connected It must be the foundation on which we rebuild peace, prosperity, and trust. With the rule of law as our foundation, our second plank will build on it, ensuring fairness and equity in governance and in society. Our second plank is fairness and equity. For too long, Deltans have lived under a system where opportunity depends on who you know, not what you can do. Communities are sidelined, groups are excluded, and whole LGAs are treated as afterthoughts. That will change. Our promise is this: every Deltan will be treated as equal before government, regardless of their tribe, gender, faith, or political affiliation. To achieve this, we will implement transparent criteria for appointments, scholarships, and contracts. Development projects will be spread equitably across LGAs, and a fairness charter will be published, making sure that every citizen and every community knows their rights and their entitlements. From the very first 100 days, we will publish an equity audit showing which communities have been neglected and where development must be prioritized. We will also open new complaint channels so that citizens can report discrimination and exclusion. Within 12 to 18 months, you will see fairness in action. At least 70% of new appointments meeting published criteria, scholarships distributed equitably across LGAs, and contracts awarded with full transparency. What will this mean for you? It will mean that your son or your daughter can apply for a scholarship and know the process is fair. It will mean that whether you live in Warri, Bomadi, or in the Undokwa axis, projects will reach your community. It will mean that opportunities are open and not locked behind patronage networks. As my leader Peter Obi has said, a new Nigeria must be characterized by inclusion, justice, equity, and fairness. That vision must start in Delta, because a government that excludes cannot unite, and a government that divides cannot prosper. And so, with fairness and equity guaranteed, our third plank now becomes possible: restoring integrity and accountability to leadership. Our third plank is integrity and accountability. Leadership is not about titles, it is about trust. And accountability begins with vision. Without a clear vision, there can be no true measure of performance. That is why every official in Delta will be judged against the Vision Better Delta roadmap, not on promises made in the dark, but on results delivered in the open. Our promise is this: integrity will no longer be optional in public office. Dishonesty will not be excused, and stewardship will be measured in outcomes, not excuses. To make this real, we will tie accountability directly to the Vision Better Delta deliverables. All revenues and expenditures will be published monthly in plain language. Every commissioner and senior appointee will sign performance contracts tied to vision outcomes. A secure whistleblower system will protect and reward those who expose corruption. Independent audit committees with citizen and civil society voices will review accounts quarterly, and senior officials will be required to publish verifiable asset declarations at the start and at the end of their tenure. In the first 100 days, we will publish a full review of government accounts and recover leakages. We will roll out performance contracts for all senior officials and establish a whistleblower fund to ensure protection and incentives for truth tellers. Within 12 to 18 months, accountability will be visible. Quarterly expenditure reports will be published online. At least 3 corruption cases will be prosecuted to conclusion. Performance reviews for commissioners will be made public, and lifestyle audits will ensure officials live within their means. What will this mean for you, the citizen? It will mean no more headlines about missing billions without consequences. It will mean leaders who cannot explain their wealth will face justice. And it will mean you can see in black and white how your money is being used to deliver on the vision. As my leader Peter Obi has said, if you, your wife, and your children are not stealing, you have reduced corruption by 60%. That truth speaks directly to our reality in Delta. Integrity must begin at the top, but accountability must be measured by results. That is how we will build trust. And so, with integrity and accountability restored, our fourth plank comes into focus, and that is transparency in governance.